The essence of Americanism is the recognition of the sacredness of human personality and the inherent inalienable rights which every man possesses independently of the state. That is why, when our country began, our founding fathers were most anxious to find some basis for human rights, some basis for human liberties, and some guarantee of human personality which would be above the encroachment of tyranny and abuse. When you think back, where did they find the basis for the right of man to be his own master, captain of his own soul, free in his right to pursue the ultimate end with a free conscience? Where did they find the rock of all liberties which would be strong enough to withstand governments and powers and states which would absorb them as monarchies did then and as certain dictatorships do today? Where did they find the source of liberties and the rights of man? On what stable foundation were they to be reared? What was their source? The answer given is an easy one. The foundation of man's rights and liberties is something so sacred, so inalienable, that no state, no parliament, no human power could ever take them away. And so they are rooted in God. Hence, our Declaration of Independence reads, all men are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. Listen to that word, unalienable. That means that these rights belong to the sacredness of human personality, not the gift of the state. Therefore, no power can take them away. This is the essence of Americanism. If human dignity and liberty come from God, then it follows that the loss of faith in Him means the loss of faith in those liberties which derive from Him. If we wish to have light, we have to keep the sun. If we wish to keep the forest, we must keep our trees. If we wish to keep our perfumes, we keep our flowers. And if we wish to keep our rights, then we must keep our God. In other words, we must take very seriously the Declaration of Independence, which derives the rights of man from God. For that reason, if we wish to keep pure Americanism, we must not only keep, but we must evangelize our faith. It is our solemn duty as Catholics and as members of the Knights of Columbus, therefore, to be conscious of our duty to America and to preserve its freedom by preserving its faith in God. The Knights of Columbus, they realized these patriotic values and that our continued faith in God must be instilled and fostered by its members back in its beginnings. So therefore, after establishing the first three principles of charity, unity, and fraternity, they established the fourth principle of patriotism. It was needed as much back then as it is needed today. Well, my brother, knights and ladies, our religious freedom, our right to be Christian, our right to be Catholic is being attacked. It's not being only attacked in our country, but it's all over the world. We see the slaughter of men, women, and children by those whose goal is simply to kill children, which include, Christians, which includes us as Catholics worldwide. Family life and religious freedom is being attacked every day by the secular press, and unfortunately, even by our own government. Prohibiting of public displays, are taking away our religious symbols, taking away public prayer, taking Christ out of Christmas, taking under God out of our Pledge of Allegiance. Those are just a few examples. We as members of the Knights of Columbus, and especially as members of the fourth degree, the patriotic degree, we must continue to be in the forefront, promoting the protection of our rights, and continuing to stand shoulder to shoulder to support our Holy Father, our bishops, our priests, in their efforts to defend our Catholic beliefs and our freedoms. Each of us must exercise our duties as citizens to vote in elections and support the candidates who support our views and are determined to preserve our rights and our religious freedoms. We may not agree on all of our policies, but We are indeed rich, are proud of our rich history, of our Constitution, of our Bill of Rights, and those who gave their lives in support and defense of them. So tonight, as we welcome our newest Sir Knights to our order, I offer my sincerest congratulations and my best wishes on this most monumental event. I encourage you to remain active in your councils in all areas of charity, programming, and especially in membership recruitment. Continue to proudly live up to the principle of the fourth degree, patriotism. In closing, I leave you with the image of the sword of the fourth degree that you new Sir Knights saw in the identification this afternoon, and how you were asked to keep it bright in liberty's defense. So let that sword remind you of the needs of those less fortunate. Let the sword remind you of the innocent victims of abortion. Let the sword remind you that we are in a fight against a culture of death, and that through our voices and our prayers, one day all life will be respected from birth to natural death. Let the sword remind you of the elderly, the handicapped, the blind, the sick. Remember, they too have rights that each of us must protect and defend. Let the sword remind you of our forefathers who fought for our religious freedom, for the rights, freedoms, and the privileges that that great flag represents, and that those men and women who have served and continue to serve in our armed forces protecting our way of life and the freedoms that each and every one of us have come to cherish. Let us continue, my brother knights and ladies, to stand in the forefront, side by side, and renew the right to be called a brother knight, and that we always remain a proud Catholic American citizen. Be proud that you are a member of the world's greatest Catholic fraternal service organization, the Knights of Columbus. May God continue to bless you and your families as you work in His vineyard, spreading His message of faith, love, and hope, and our order's great principles, helping to make the world better for His people.